Today, we're counting down the 12 Woolworths bargains that aren't the deals they seem. From tempting household essentials that could ruin your electronics to everyday groceries Australians toss in the bin, this list exposes which products actually waste your money, fill your fridge with regret, and leave you worse off at the checkout. So which item turned out to be the sneakiest budget trap of all? Let's kick things off, starting with number 12. Number 12. Woolworths Select AA batteries. 24-pack might look like the ultimate bargain at $8.50, but these cheap AAs can turn into a silent saboteur for your electronics. Consumer lab tests show budget batteries like these leak nearly twice as often as premium brands. Think 1.8 times the risk of corrosive goo seeping into your $150 TV remote or even a $300 camera. The damage isn't just a dead battery, it's a fried circuit board or a sticky mess that's almost impossible to clean. On top of that, these batteries only last about 60% as long in high-drain devices, so you're swapping them out twice as often and paying for it in the long run. It's a classic case of saving a few bucks now, but risking a much bigger hit when your electronics cop it. For anything you care about, it's worth spending a couple of extra dollars on a brand that won't turn your remote into a science experiment. Save the cheapies for the torch in the junk drawer, not the gear you actually use. Number 11. Macro organic coconut oil in the big 1-litre jar looks like a healthy pantry upgrade, but it is more of a science experiment waiting to happen. The moment you crack the lid, that generous 24-month shelf life shrinks right down to just 8 months, sometimes even less if your kitchen gets warm. Most Aussie families only use a spoonful here and there, so after those first pancakes or stir-fries, the jar sits abandoned, slowly morphing into a half-solid, half-liquid volcano. Natural coconut oil never stays the same consistency. 1 week it is hard as a rock, the next, it is a drippy mess leaking down the sides every time you try to scoop some out. By month 4 or 5, oxidation kicks in, and the oil starts to taste like soap with a faint whiff of old gym socks. Studies show about 70% of these giant jars end up wasted, which means you are tossing $15 worth of coconut oil straight into the compost. If you are not running a smoothie bar from home, stick to the smaller 500 millilitres jar. Less waste, less mess, and no more coconut oil volcanoes lurking in the back of the pantry. In the 10th place, Woolworths Gold Bakery Bread 3-pack might seem like a smart buy at $6, but in an Aussie summer it turns into a mould museum before you can even finish the second loaf. CSIRO studies show that in humid states like Queensland and New South Wales, this bread starts sprouting green patches as early as day 3. By day 5, you're better off entering it in a science fair. The numbers don't lie. 35% of these 3-packs end up in the bin, which means every time you grab the deal, you're tossing $2.10 straight to landfill. Freezing the spare loaves doesn't save you either. The bread comes out with a texture that's more rubber thong than bakery fresh. Families hoping to save money end up with a third of their bread wasted, and the only thing bulk packs grow reliably is penicillin. If you want bread that's actually edible by the end of the week, skip the 3-pack and grab a fresh single loaf instead. Number 9, the Woolworths 1 kilogram cheese block turns your fridge into a cheese museum, complete with dried out edges and furry blue exhibits you never meant to curate. At $11, it looks like a savvy bulk buy, but here's the catch. Once opened, that kilo block only stays fresh for 3 to 4 weeks. Meanwhile, the average Aussie family chips away at about 500 grams a month. By the time you're halfway through, the rest is already on its way to becoming a science project. Studies show 1 in 5 slices ends up tossed. 20% of every block, or $2.20, straight into the bin as crusty, inedible waste. That's not just a bit of shrinkage, it's a chunk of your grocery budget gone mouldy. Smaller 500-gram blocks bought twice, actually cost the same but save you the guilt and the bin trips. Unless you're hosting a cheese and bitchy marathon, the only thing a giant block guarantees is a front row seat to the great dairy spoilage race.
8th place goes to the Fresh Berries 1 kilogram punnet, the poster child for wishful thinking in the produce aisle. At $12 to $15 a pop, these bulk berry boxes promise value but deliver heartbreak and compost. Australian-grown berries, especially in summer, last just 2 to 3 days in the fridge before they start to collapse into mush or sprout furry jackets. That's not just bad luck. Research from OzHarvest and CSIRO shows nearly 40% of these family-sized punnets end up tossed, which means every time you buy one, you're basically paying $6 to feed your bin. The waste isn't just from poor storage. Most berries are picked underripe so they survive the trip, which means you're biting into crunchy sour disappointment rather than juicy sweetness. For families hoping to save, this is a classic trap. The big punnet looks like a deal, but unless you're running a smoothie bar, you'll be fishing out moldy raspberries by midweek. If you want berries that taste like berries and don't cost a fortune in waste, stick to smaller punnets or grab frozen. They last months, not hours, and don't turn your fridge into a science experiment.
Number 7. Pre-cut fruit salad at $8.50 for a 500-gram tub is the sort of supermarket shortcut that looks healthy but empties your wallet and your fruit bowl. Do the maths, and you're shelling out $17 per kilogram for fruit that was probably diced up 3 days ago, nearly triple what you'd pay for the same fruit whole. The real kicker: the moment those apples, melons and kiwis hit the chopping board, their vitamin C starts vanishing. Studies show pre-cut fruit can lose up to half its vitamin C content within just 2 days in the fridge, even if it looks fresh on the outside. What you're left with is a box of soggy, browning chunks that taste like yesterday's leftovers and deliver half the nutrients. About 30% of these tubs end up wilted and tossed, so you're paying $2 to $3 straight into the bin for the privilege of not owning a knife. If you want fruit that actually tastes like fruit and keeps its vitamins, grab it whole, chop what you need, and pocket the savings. Sliced convenience, more like a costly shortcut to disappointment. Number 6. Macro organic almond butter in the 1 kilo jar is the kind of pantry purchase that starts out as a health kick and ends as a chemistry experiment. At $28 a tub, it feels like a savvy bulk buy, but almond butter is a fussy beast. Once you open that lid, you have got 3 to 4 months before the natural oils start to oxidize and the whole thing turns from creamy spread to bitter, grainy disappointment. Most Aussie families only manage to scrape through half the jar before it starts smelling like old paint and tasting even worse. The rest? It sits there, a sad, oily puddle on top, requiring a weekly arm workout just to stir it back together, if you even bother. By the time you've been the last half, you have effectively thrown away $14 and learned a lesson in food science the hard way. Unless you are powering through almond butter on daily smoothies and sandwiches, the 500-gram jar is the safer bet. Fresher, less waste, and no need to play mad scientist every time you want a snack. Number 5. Woolworths Essentials Shampoo 1 litre is the sort of bargain that leaves your hair in your bathroom worse off than when you started. For $6, you get a bottle big enough to drown a koala, but what is inside is far from gentle. The formula packs a whopping 15% sodium lauryl sulfate, a chemical known for stripping natural oils from your scalp. Dermatologists warn that high sulfate shampoos like this turn hair to straw, especially if you have curls or colour in your hair. About 30% of users report dry, itchy scalps after a few washes, and if you have ever tried to balance a 1 litre bottle on a slippery shower shelf, you know the struggle. These oversized bottles are serial offenders for toppling over and splattering half their contents down the drain. The one-size-fits-all approach means it is tailored to nobody, leaving most people with lackluster results and a mess to clean up. For just a couple of dollars more, a smaller sulfate-free shampoo will actually leave your hair soft and your shower floor safe from tidal waves. Sometimes, the real price of a cheap shampoo isn't on the tag, it is in the mirror and the mop bucket. Number 4. The Woolworths Rotisserie chicken is the supermarket classic that smells like Sunday lunch but hides a salty secret under that golden skin. At $10, you'd expect a simple roast, but what you're really paying for is a bird pumped with up to 15% saltwater brine, meaning every kilo comes with an extra 150 grams of water and sodium you never asked for. Nutrition panels reveal a whopping 480 milligrams of sodium per 100 grams, more than some fast food burgers. That's before you even get to the industrial seed oils coating the skin, which nutritionists warn aren't doing your heart any favors. The chicken sits in heated cabinets for hours, drying out until the breast is stringy and the wings are practically jerky. Most families end up binning about a $1.50 worth of uneaten, dried out bits. So while the price tag says roast chicken, what you're really forking out for is a salty, water-inflated chook that leaves you thirsty and tossing leftovers. If you want real value and a proper roast, grab a raw chicken for $7 and season it yourself. Your taste buds and your blood pressure will thank you. Coming to the top 3, hot roast pork at $16 a kilo might look like a shortcut to an easy family dinner, but it's a double whammy for your wallet and your health. Lab tests put the sodium content at more than 600 milligrams per 100 grams, almost double the World Health Organization's daily recommendation in just a couple of slices. That's more than what you'd get in many takeaway meals, and it adds up fast, especially for anyone watching their blood pressure. The price tag stings too. You're paying nearly twice as much as you would for a raw pork roast, which usually sits around $9 a kilo. But the real insult is what happens under those supermarket heat lamps. The pork sits for hours, losing up to 20% of its moisture, so what you bring home is often dried out and tough. Families end up binning about a quarter of what they buy, $4 out of every 16 straight in the rubbish. If you want juicy, tender pork that won't send your sodium through the roof or your money into the bin, you're better off grabbing a raw roast and letting your own oven do the work. In second place, checkout books sitting by the Woolies register are a masterclass in wasted good intentions. For $25 to $35, you get a glossy cookbook or lifestyle guide that promises to transform your dinner routine or declutter your life. But once you get home, reality sets in. Nielsen data shows the average person uses just 2 or 3 recipes from a new cookbook before it's shelved. The rest of the pages gather dust, wedged between the slow cooker manual and that Sudoku book from 2018. It's not just a few forgetful shoppers either. Studies suggest 70% of these impulse buys are barely cracked open, and most end up donated to the op shop, still in near new condition. That's about $24 of every purchase going straight to the bookshelf graveyard. The real kicker is the opportunity cost, money and shelf space spent on books you'll never use, instead of borrowing from the library or searching for free recipes online. Unless you're collecting doorstops or need a last-minute Secret Santa, leave the checkout books behind and put your cash towards something you'll actually use. Your wallet and your bookshelf will thank you. And finally, in first place, Woolworths Gold Multivitamins 365 pack is the king of sneaky supermarket spends. At $25 for a year's supply, it looks like the ultimate health bargain. But here's the kicker. Those vitamins don't keep their promise for long. Studies on supplement stability show that by month 7, the potency of key nutrients can drop by 20 to 50%, especially if you're storing the bottle in a steamy Aussie bathroom or the kitchen cupboard next to the kettle. That means you're swallowing expensive placebos for half the year, with nothing to show but neon yellow urine, your body's way of flushing out what it can't use. Most Australians Australians aren't even lacking the vitamins these tablets supply. About 80% get enough from food, so the only thing getting topped up is the wastewater. To make matters worse, nearly a third of these mega packs end up expiring before the last tablet is taken. That's $7.50 straight in the bin. Unless your doctor's flagged a real deficiency, skip the bulk bottle and put your money towards a few extra veggies. Your wallet and your kidneys will thank you. Across all 12 entries, one pattern stands out. The cheapest or biggest deal often ends up costing us more through waste, spoilage, or disappointment. In supermarkets today, value isn't just about price tags, but about buying what you'll actually use and trust. Being a savvy shopper means questioning the bargain, not just grabbing it. Which Woolies deal do you steer clear of? Drop your thoughts below.